Hey gamers, got a big one for you today. We're going to look at Galactic Rebellion. Let's check it out. The board game's so big I couldn't get it all in one shot, but this game is very similar in a lot of ways to Empire's Age of Discovery. Basically, let me tell you about setup. I use one of these ships, even though the rulebook's not very clear on what is the round tracker here, but I use one of these ships. These are other ships that will come out. These are the Rebel ships that will come out later in the game. You can get some of these. And the cards are very straightforward on how you get them. You're going to put out 4 goods here. You're going to draw them from a drawstring bag of goods. You are going to put 1 science cube, these gray cubes, on each one of the planets. You're going to shuffle all these trade route tiles, and before you lay them out, the first 2 you flip over, those have 4 of these little black sentinels on them. These are the villains at the end of the game. The next 2 have 3. The next 2 planets you reveal have 3 on each. The next 2 on each planet have 2, and the last one has the last 2 have 1 on it. So that's how you get the 4, 3, 2, 1. And then you shuffle them again, and you reveal 2 of them, and you place these ships on them. Now, when they have these ships on them, they're guarded. That means you cannot go to that planet. And of course, there are cards that will move these ships, so you can get access to those planets. So once you've done all of that, you set up the turn order track here. I have purple first. I don't have anyone else going because, like I said, this game is very similar to Empire's Age of Discovery. It says under here under research technology, it doesn't have a spot for you to put the technology tiles. It says put them over to the side. So I put them over the side here. And they have this mat. Now I have the special edition. So it has this mat for Epoch 3, turns 7 and 8. I have no idea why they didn't just get one for the other ones, rounds 2. That makes 0 sense to me. But anyway, what you're doing, you have 3 epochs here. These are basically the 3 eras here, Epoch 1, 2, and 3. You're going to have 3 piles of all 3 of these, and you're going to deal out 5 of these. And you're going to do that for 3 rounds, and then you're going to switch to Epoch 2 for 3 rounds, and then Epoch 3 for 2 rounds. So, other things you're going to have is you're going to have a covert mission deck. You're going to shuffle that deck, deal out 3, and then you're going to have Imperial actions. You're going to shuffle this deck and deal out 4. Down back around here, I've already talked about this setup, you are going over to here. You'll have these player boards you can play. Base game plays with 6 people. This game will play with 8 people if you have the special edition. But you just pick your team, pick your color, you get 3 little military cubes, and you get 5 rebels that you would put right here. It says 5 new rebels. Now, of course, there are other people in the game that you can get, and I'll talk about them later. I should mention, first player starts with $10, second player with $11, third player with $12, so on and so forth. They just get 1 coin more. Coins come in 10s, 5s, and 1s. Again, this is the special edition. These coins are metal. The regular coins will be cardboard. And you'll shuffle this deck. This is faction power cards. You'll shuffle it, deal 2 out to each player. They will pick 1 and then keep it and discard the other one, or it says you can just randomly give 1 out. Probably want to do the 2 and pick 1. Gameplay is very simple. What you're going to do on each, you just one at a time, you'll be placing out rebels or special characters out here on the board to get actions. First off, the initiative track, just like in Empire's Age of Discovery, you can only play from the top left corner here. The first person plays here gets 1 coin. Second place gets 2. Third person plays there. Third, fourth, fifth, 6. Okay? And if you're playing with 7 and 8, you can just give them 7 and 8. And then call me over because I want to play a 7 and 8 game. Now, on certain, it depends on the player count. I should also mention, some of these planets, this is a 4-player game. If it's a 5-player game, 1 planet is blocked off, and I guess, even though it doesn't say 6 or 7, then no planet is blocked off at the beginning. How do you get to these planets? Well, you just place characters all the way here, except for the X and Y. There's special cards that can let you do that. And then that'll send you to any planet that's open, except for the ones with the ships on them. And over here, same thing like Empire's Age of Discovery. You place your people here, and going from left to right, they each get to pick 1 technology. Even though it's not written on the board like it is in Empire's Age of Discovery, it's the same way. There is a player aid that helps you out with this, but it'll say, hey, if you get 3 of any type, it's $1 income every round. If it's 3 of the same type, you get $3 every round. If it's 4 of the same type, you get $6 every round. Over here is covert missions. This is kind of like going to explore from Empire's Age of Discovery. What you're going to be doing is you're going to be sending out people over here to fight other people. Heroes count for 2, smugglers count for 2, meaning you can use some extra cubes. You start with 3, but you'll get extra cubes when you're going to fight. You can fight other players on the board, and if you beat that other player, you'll increase your military cubes by 1 next round. And you have a total of 10. You start with 3, but you have a total of 10 you can use. Okay, this is the covert mission spot here. What you do, it says heroes and smugglers count for 2. I'll talk about each one of those individually later. But with these covert missions, you get to take one of the covert mission cards that are available over here. Now these go on certain planets and they're worth certain victory points, plus they give you an extra ability, so you may want to go with one with less victory points just to get that good ability. But once you go to the planet, the only thing you have to have a strength of greater than what's on the troopers here. So strength greater than or equal to a 4, a 3, a 2, a 1, depending on where the planet is, where the mission's taking place. Sometimes it'll say any planet. You can also do covert missions on planets where the ships are, because you're not landing people there, but you can do covert missions there. So that's covert missions. They count as victory points at the end of the game. Research technologies, again, for some reason, you place it from left to right, and then you resolve it over to the corner, because they couldn't, on this big board, they didn't have room to put the squares on it. That's kind of weird. It tells you at the top, thank goodness, how much each epoch it cost, 10, 15, and 20. So the prices go up, but the first one, the second one, and the third one just get better and better of the different technologies you can get, and you just go over to the technology tree and pick any of them. At the end of the round, you'd wipe out the ones that were used, throw them away, and put out 5 more. Warfare, only troopers and heroes can go here, and when you put them out here, there's not that many, but when you go out here, you can fight other players, or you can fight sentinels. Now, if you're fighting a sentinel and you're a hero, you get a +1 cube. So if I had 3 cubes, I would get a 4th one if I had a hero in there. And as many people as you can grab in here, you can go off and fight. Now, when you're going on and fighting warfare, if you're fighting another player and you beat them, what it is basically you're just taking cubes. The other player takes his 3 cubes, you take your 3 cubes. Let's say I'm fighting red, okay? So we would dump all 3 of these in here, and then one by one, or if you want to, just all 3, you pick out all 3, and whoever has the majority wins. Oh, red killed me there. How is that possible? But anyway, if I lost, oh well. But if I'd won, I'd have gained an extra military cube. You have 10 of these available. You start with 3. You definitely want to build them up by the end of the game. So warfare is used a lot, but only heroes and troopers can go there. Again, if you want to fight one of these little sentinels, these are bad guys to beat. There's 5 black cubes that go against your 3 cubes, or maybe even more if you're facing other ones. So it's a really hard battle, but it is worth trying to get these sentinels out. That's because at the end of the game, there's a big wide massacre war. It's really awesome. Anyway, after that is the Galactic Senate. Place as many people as you want here, and then you use those people to bid to get certain Imperial actions. Now, these can help you or screw other players. So there's only 2 types there, and a lot of them will be desirable. It'll be saying, hey, you can add some to the board. You can take away some of these troopers from the board. You can move sentinels on the board. You can move ships. You can place ships. You can place your people. I mean, there's tons of this and that. Take that and take this on the board from the Imperial actions. Now, after end of every epoch, though, whoever has the most left over, when you bid, you have to remove them from the Senate. But whoever has the most at the end of every epoch gets 7 extra additional points. Now, I skipped over one on purpose, which was all the specialists. Let me get to them now. You do have specialists in each type. First off, troopers. Of course, troopers are good for warfare. You definitely want to bring them out, and you are going to be in a lot of wars here, surprisingly enough. So troopers are very good to have. They're fighters. Scientists, and everyone has the same type scientists here. Scientists are good for a few reasons. One, they give you a $5, they're like the builder in Age of Discovery. They give you a $5 discount when researching technology, and if you put them out on a planetary influence, they can take, if no one has taken it yet, this science cube, which can be converted into a cube of your color. It's another easy way to get extra, build up your military that way. Now, you also have the diplomat here. The diplomat is good, obviously, in the Senate. He counts for 2 points in the Senate. Also, if he goes out here, he can convert another player's rebel into one of his, which would give you, this is area control here, just like in Age of Discovery. Because at the end of the game, whoever has the most influence will get 6. Third place will get 3 victory points. The next one is the smuggler. I've talked about the smuggler before. Smugglers count as 2 when they go on covert missions. And if you put them out on a planet first, they could grab that trade route, which would help you in your trade goods and helping you get some more income. But like I said, once the trade routes are gone, they're gone. So those are what smugglers are for. Heroes, as you saw, are worth everything. Everyone's hero looks different, but as you're placing your hero, any one of these, any smuggler, hero, scientist, diplomat, trooper, they can be placed on any of these, which is fine. But if you want to see what their special ability is, you definitely want to put a hero here on covert missions, who count as 2 people, or here on warfare, who are really good as well. Now the game goes 8 rounds. At the end, you have a galactic war. What's a galactic war? Well, all of the rebels, the characters, anyone that you have on any of these planets, everyone has a war where you're dumping in whatever military cubes you have against the awful, really hard Sentinels who are dumping all the cubes they have. Other players are dumping cubes in there, and it's just a cube pull, 3 at a time, and you're seeing who knocked off. And of course, if maybe I had red and purple and there was 1 black, that means red and purple teamed up on the Sentinel and he's out. If there were 2 black and 1 purple, that means one of my purple guys are gone. And so they're basically just mowing down everyone's character. Now you're supposed to go in order of who has a majority there, but it is kind of unfair because you work so hard to get majorities in them that the Sentinels are going to attack you first. I don't like that. So what we do is we put all the cubes in there and we have an all-out battle. That means you can be fighting blue or yellow or other players or the Sentinels. That is not a rule. It is a house rule. It's a house rule, but that's just, I think, a better way of protecting that hard-earned majority that you had on a lot of planets. Anyway, of course, at the end of the game, you're going to add up any victory points. For every 10 of these, you're going to get a victory point. You could have some Epoch 3 technologies that are definitely going to give you victory points at the end of the game. And, of course, being in the Senate gets you an extra 7 points again. And then you're adding up, of course, all of these planet VPs. And whoever has the most victory points at the end wins. Final thoughts. What do I think about the game? Well, first off, hey, look, mine's a specially signed copy. You don't need the super deluxe version with the expansion in it to enjoy it. The base game is good enough. Now, comparing this to Age of Discovery, you have to do, right? It's virtually almost the same game, even though they are different. I do want to talk about the things I do not like about Age of Discovery. First off, I don't like that there's no scoreboard. Tut, tut, tut. They give you pieces of paper to fill out points with. That's garbage. That is ultimate garbage. I always hate that in the game when they don't give you a score track. Age of Discovery had a scoreboard in it. It would have taken nothing for them to put one in there. So that's a big minus for me. The next one is there's no place to put tech. You have to put tech over to the side. What we use is we use that Epoch 3 board to put the tech out on. But why not put that board is huge. You could put a place to have the tech down there. I just think that's so stupid. That was kind of lazy. I don't know why they did that. The end game is dumb. I know a lot of people complain about that. Yeah, it is. It sucks that you build so much time getting area control over those planets only to be wiped out by the Sentinels. Those Sentinels are awful, man. They'll destroy you. And the thing is, we just thought that was just totally unfair when we read the rules on that. And so I asked everyone, I said, would you mind if we just combined all of them in there and had a big old bag to draw things out? That way you don't have to draw so many battles at one time. And we all did that. We all were happy with it. It was funny because while the Sentinels were attacking us, maybe 2 reds and a blue. Oh, red turned around and shot blue in the head. It's an all-out war. And we really enjoyed that. And it kind of mitigates the bad luck you have of being first. Because really, if you play it the straight way, you're going to have to play for second place on all those planets. Or maybe even third, too, if there's a lot of Sentinels on there. So, I mean, but that's easy. And there's other people on Board Game Geek who come up with several different ways to end this game. So, you can take any of those too. So that's not really as bad as the first 2. And the last one, kind of minor complaint. Some of the rule book is a little vague on a few things, on setup and on certain things. And I wish it just had a little bit more detail, a little bit more explanation. Like certain things just don't get explained. They're just there and you don't know what to do with them. You just kind of have to guess a few of the times. So the rule book could have been written better. But other than that, there's a lot to like about this game. Believe it or not, I love this game. I really do. I really do. Those are all my complaints. Things I love that were, in a way, I think they are better than Age of Discovery. One is the covert missions. I love that. Now, in Age of Discovery, you got some victory points, maybe some coin, maybe even a trade good if you got there in time. So that's really nice to get some coins and some points. But covert missions give you points and they give you a power. Now, the stronger the power, the lower the victory point. And you think, well, you'll always go for the big victory points. You won't. Sometimes you're like, ooh, I really like that power. I'm going to get that 1 victory point. When I could have gotten 3 going to this planet. But that victory, that superpower, that little power doesn't really help me that much or benefit me as much. It's really neat. And if you control just maybe 1 or 2 planets, you don't have to control that many planets and still win the game because you've won a lot of covert missions. And that's a big strategy that a lot of people go after, and that was really neat. That's not an Age of Discovery, at least in any of our games you played. Another one I like, Age of Discovery has a ship that everyone's bidding over, which is nice, and the game includes that with trade routes. But instead of the place where you bid for a ship, which is kind of lame, they have the Senate, which I really enjoy. So you want to put lots of people in the Senate. Of course, at the end of every epoch, you're going to get 7 victory points. That's nice. But at the same time, those cards either help you, and usually they screw other players. And you bid your men to get them out of there. Now, sometimes you bid on cards you don't really want. You just don't want the other players to get them because you know what they're going to do, because you can move troops to someone else or add troops to the board or move a ship over to a planet, blocking everyone else from there and giving you majority on it. I mean, there's a lot of good strategy there. So whether you're screwing other players or just voting for the card so you can take it off the board and not give it to anyone else. Man, the Senate was a great idea to add in there. The other great thing on this one is warfare. And Age of Discovery, the only time in any of my games I've ever played, the only time you have wars and battles is at the last round, the very last round, when people are trying to fight for those last 10 victory points. In this game, every round but the first round, everyone was going to war. You're going to war against Sentinels. It builds up your army when you do that. And it lessens your threat at the end of the game, you hope. There's a lot of Sentinel battles. There was a lot of battles with other players, and you're constantly fighting and bickering. But that warfare thing after the first round, there was at least one person on there every time battling Sentinels or battling other players. It's really, and there's only 4 spots there. That place gets locked out. You play with 6 players, good luck. So a lot of times that's the first place to go. Really, and where Age of Discovery, you rarely use, only 1 round do you use warfare. In this game, use it, it seems in all the games I played, use it every round but the first round. It's wild, but really good use of that, because now battles mean more, because when you win battles, you get more cubes, and you've got to prepare for the end of the game, when the Galactic War breaks out. That makes people go to warfare a lot more, and I really like that. Anything else about this game? Oh, I like how they use scientists. When they go on planets, they can get those great cubes. That's an easy one-off convert. Smugglers get the trade routes. That's an easily, to build up your income each round. And of course, anyone who goes to the planet, the diplomats can convert another. I don't know if I mentioned that, you can convert other rebels when they're down on the planet. But the thing is, when they're down there, you also have technology cards that can give you extra bonuses for anyone that's down there of a particular type. So you got to watch out for that too. This game rewards you in whatever strategy you go after, and I really like that in the game. To be honest, I have all my complaints. In-game, the in-game war, we're happy with how we changed that. That's not really a problem. The rules, a little vague here and there, not that big a problem. Get a scoreboard. Get a place for, just do 2 careless things. The artwork's, okay, I don't care about it that much, but if they got a scoreboard and they had a place where you could put the technology tiles, this game would probably beat Age of Discovery for me. And Age of Discovery is a top 10 game of mine. So the shocking thing is the base game, which is all you need. I mean, how are you going to play 8 players? I mean, if I'm going to play 8 players, I'm playing Twilight Imperium, this is Twilight Imperium light in a way, I don't know. But this is a really fun game. It's super cheap, super cheap. You can get this game super cheap, and I do highly recommend it. I absolutely love it. I can't wait to add it. It's added to my collection with Age of Discovery. Really fun stuff. Well worth your time. All right, gamers, that is it for now. So until then, game on!